Welcome to the start of a new anime review series. Though it's a follow up to another anime review series I did 5 months ago. What anime review series is that? To Love Ru! This is the follow up to that one. The sequel series, To Love Ru Darkness. Yep. Yeah, I originally did a review for this thing back in January of this year, and now I'm on the sequel series. Funny thing about the sequel series, not as long as the original one. No, not really. The manga is actually slightly longer. Though I can understand this one a lot more with the censoring for this one than it was with the original one. The original made freaking sense at all. Like, they still do the dumb censoring. Oh yeah, let's have a blinding light over breast for some reason, for like no reason at all. At least they stopped doing the thing where they do the blaring light where you ever see him groping. Yeah, they stopped doing that apparently. Now, these three episodes, adapt the first four chapters of the manga in just this episode alone. These three episodes alone. Yep, the first episode picks up not long after the events of the series finale of Mato to Love Ru, where Haruka is basically curious why everybody's talking about it, like, oh yeah, I guess at the end of the previous series, Rito trying to confess to Haruka, but Haruka's top came off. He ends up accidentally trying to confess to Haruka, confess to everybody there, and it doesn't really go anywhere much. It just dropped by the end of the episode. Yeah. So, with this one, we get introduced to one new character in this one. Yes, introduced in the very first episode, her name is Mina. Yes, a girl who is later revealed in episode 2 to be like Darkness, who is kind of revealed to be Darkness's sister. Yes. Now, the thing with these episodes is that there's a lot focused on Momo. Yes, Lala's little sister. Lala herself does not play a role in these episodes, though. Which kind of like, really? Yes, really. Lala, the female lead of the series, does not play a role in her own damn series. Mostly, it's a little more focused on Darkness, this one. It was kind of like this. Because if you read the original manga, I'd say about halfway through it, like you read it, and then you go about 20, 30 chapters and no Lala for no reason. Yes. Also, the whole thing with the previous one with the alien spaceships, more aliens. These episodes, not really. It's like they basically downplayed that in these ones. Yep. Yep. Yeah. So, and of course, Haruka gets groped, like usual, by one of the other girls. I think her name is Lisa, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. She, of course, is appearing in this brief scene. She appears once after this, and that's it. There's a. Yeah. Yeah, these two have really been reduced. Also, the Snotty girl, the rich girl, she does not appear in these episodes. Nope. She's nowhere to be seen. We do see brief cameos by other female characters in the series, who did play a small role in the previous one, and this one's like, nah, let's do something like a small cameo. Minkin appears in all three, which is quite nice. We do see a brief cameo by Rito's father in episode 3. Well, there's an explanation for that. So, like, new day at school, and of course they also have it where Momo and Nana, where they basically transfer to the school. And like it's mentioned, I think it was Momo mentions to Yami that she should transfer to school in order to close to Rito. Yes, there's also this thing where Momo goes into the bath. They explain in a flashback also that, oh yeah, she wants to create she wants to do Rito's harem. Yeah, all these women who basically got a crush on him. Yeah, she wants these. They want them to become his wives, basically, because he says, "Oh yeah, I'm going to be the next king of Dukeland." And if I remember correctly, Lala's father isn't really. I think he appears toward the end of the series, but not in chapters that's going to be that for the anime. Oh no, the anime stops at a certain point. Yes. Yeah, for some reason, when it gets to the last episode, it stops at a very strange point. Yes, it stops, like, it adapts a good chunk of To Love Through Darkness. It does. And unlike the original series, it actually adapts stuff in order. Doesn't skip around. Nope. So, excuse me. So Momo basically is like very protective of Rito. He's constantly around him a lot in these few episodes. Rito, despite being the main character of the series, it's like he's been reduced to a supporting character in his own series because we have focus on Momo. Also, when Nana meets her friend Mina, she reveals to her, oh yeah, because she could talk to animals. And think, oh yeah, it's cool. Like mentioned, oh yeah, it's true, the she's an alien. Like, she has no problem with it, though. As in the case of Darkness herself, like, okay, yeah, talking to his friends, his male friends around the vending machine, and then we hear Rito running from them for some reason because they kind of been turned to, like, they've been possessed, being into zombies. Yeah, this is kind of weird. And of course, well, at one point you have, well, them surrounding Darkness, and it looks like looks like the way it looks here, it looks like they're about to strip her naked. And lucky enough, she's able to punch them all away. Because at one point, it looked like her top is partially off. Then, of course, oh yeah, there's this mysterious being who wants her to basically continue, go back to what she was doing. Also, they brought along Kaline, their talking plant child, which was given to Lala as a present from their father, given to the school nurse. And she's got no problem with this one. By the way, Haruka does nothing these episodes. Literally nothing. You see her occasionally pop up here and there. Doesn't really play a role at all. This married woman, she does play a role a couple of episodes. And I believe it was in the first episode of the series and the third one. Where the first one, she is basically first see her, where she's like, does her usual thing of basically like trying to stop perverts. And then later on, she's seen carrying these big stack of books. And then Rito just takes them from her, just voluntarily cares from her, just be a gentleman. And of course, Lala goes with him, and of course, Kaline just jumps on him, and then of course, he ends up basically underneath Kawaja's skirt, and she ends up beating the crap out of him for it, despite the fact it was a pure accident. What happened in the books? Not really known, just basically like, oh yeah, this is also revealed when the sisters basically transferred and they show up to class. Momo is super popular, but Nana isn't because we'll just introduce the other girl. But in the case of Haruka, aside from the brief scene at the beginning, she doesn't really do much of anything at all. Like, you see her briefly at the beginning of the first episode, and after that, next time you see her is briefly in episode 2, and then she's seen briefly in episode 3, usually in the hallway. Yes, for the secondary female lead of the series, wow, they really reduced her. And this is definitely true for the manga. Now, it makes more sense for this series to have a little more censoring this one than it was with the previous one. At least censoring made a little more sense this one than the previous one. The reason is because if you ever read the To Love Through Darkness manga, there's a reason why there's a little more censoring here. Because there's tons of nudity in the series. I mean, oh my gosh, like almost every character, almost all the girls in the series go completely naked. Like, they all go naked. Almost like every single one of them who are basically primary characters, you all seem completely naked. Not Lala for some reason. Yeah, early on, Lala does not play a role in To Love Through Darkness. It's mostly focused on Darkness herself, Momo, and Rito. Yes, Lala, the main character's fiance, does nothing early on in the series. Yep. Also, you know Lala's bodyguard? I think his name is Zenra, Zenra. He, like, I remember reading from the manga, I think he appeared in like 3 chapters. out of the entire, like, 78 chapter series. He appeared in 3 chapters. Yeah, this guy got greatly reduced after early on in the series. He got really reduced to, like, basically just a minor character. Yeah. Though later on in the series, Rito actually goes off-world. Yeah, during the last, like, 20 chapters of the series, it does briefly go off-world. Though he does come back at the very end. Mm-hmm. Yep. And in the case of No, she basically reveals herself to Doc, and she's like, her refers to her as Big Sis. Despite the fact that these two both look like they're the same age, apparently. And of course, she tells her, oh yeah, we wanted to kill Rito. And then of course she talks to Megan. And even though that Momo made a suggestion to her transfer, Megan makes the same suggestion and, well, transfer. And she does. She puts on a school uniform after wearing the same outfit pretty much the whole series. Now, in case you're curious though, prior to her becoming part of the school, did she ever actually wear a different attire? Yes. For one episode before she went back to her regular assassin garb. Yep. And then later on, of course, Nana is asked by Mena about Rito. Tells us about how much of a beast he is. It's like he's a pervert. He likes groping girls, even though it was all purely by accident. Yep. Oh, in case you're curious, though, the little hairpin thing that Lala uses as it also transfers to her hat, he briefly speaks in the pilot episode, and he's there. Doesn't do anything. Yeah, this one has more downplay of the alien stuff, more of the erotic stuff. That's mostly what the series is about. And, oh yeah, in case you're curious though, is there any, like, action sequences here? No, not really. The only thing that made me smile is the fact it's got good storytelling. Yep. Kurosawa in episode 3, basically, because, well, it's revealed that, oh, that Momo wants to add her to Rito's harem, aside from, well, herself, her older sister, and Haruka, basically make her girl number 4. And she basically first has the principal, who is a pervert. Yes, he's a freaking pervert. Makes him somehow use one of her plants, because she could talk to plants. Makes him basically, where he basically wants someone to lick him. So he steps on his underwear for some strange reason. And so, before this, you have Rito and Karaja basically just happen to be walking the same way because Lala is with her sisters and Megan is out shopping. So he just basically volunteers to go home with her, and of course they'll part ways because they both live in the same area. Well, in case you're curious about how would he know that, simple. He's been to her house. He's even been in her bedroom and seen her topless. Yes. And then, of course, after the principal thing, then they fake basically having rain. And they get back to the house, and of course, both soaking wet. And he, being a gentleman, decides to, well, has her take a shower. And, of course, she put her clothes in the dryer. Now, he originally gave her a sweatshirt. And then later on, apparently, off-screen switched to a white button-up shirt. Well, Momo did that because she's behind a lot of the stuff here. So, keeps him trapped in the house, so basically he can do the dirty deed with her, apparently. Yep, so then after she has her shower, which, by the way, there's a bit of censoring here. They use the steam to fog up her breast and her groin area and her rear end. I'm like, why fog up the rear? I get maybe doing the front, not doing the front, but okay. Rito can show up as rear, but none of the girls? Does that make any sense for this stupid censoring? Where, like I said, Rito can show up as rear end, no problem. But the girls? Nah. Let's censor their rear ends for, like, no reason. Yep, and after the shower, put the shirt on. It's like, they change shirts. And then, of course, they have coffee. And then, ooh, there's a blackout. He chips over his own table, falls in her. And it looks like, though, they're about to make out, and then he, of course, power comes back on because, well, the bear around the house is destroyed by Mena because, well, she wants to help her big sister kill Rito, despite the fact she has currently no interest in doing that. Yep, and I'm trying to think, what else? Oh yeah, and of course he basically apologized for his actions. Like, oh yeah, I knew that, but yeah, just trying to test you and tease you. And the fact she was the reason why because, well, she basically doesn't like perfect because well they picked on weak girls when she was younger. Yep, in the case of Mena, she actually does. Well, the whole thing with darkness has calmed down briefly by well them talking to each other and late at night. Of course, Momo is sharing his bed for reasons because she's got a thing for him. And of course, they really are like, "How did you find my teriyaki?" He basically had to really almost choking the damn thing. Mm-hmm. Yep. So pretty much, let's see what else. Oh yeah, I don't get out of order for these episodes, so I'm just doing the best I can here. So, not Nina basically finds Rito on the roof sleeping because well he didn't get much sleep the previous night because the whole thing with darkness and Momo. So he just fast asleep, and Nina basically briefly talks to Haruka, like where's Rito is like probably on the roof. Like okay, thank you. And then she manages to get on top of him, and you're probably thinking, are they gonna do it? Nope. She just uses her power to look into his mind, and in her dreams, basically both of them are completely naked in his bathroom, and he has no idea who the heck she is. And she finds out about the Project Harem. They look at his memories, and of course, she ends up like groping her, and she likes it. Yep. And then of course, darkness interrupts her, and then she just gets away. She's not gonna kill her because well, the rules is basically I don't steal her target. Like if you, of course, darkness is like Yami's like, if you dare take my target, I'll if you harm it, I'll kill you. And she's like, don't worry about it. Basically, you know the rules. Can't steal anybody else's target. Yep. That's pretty much all 3 episodes. Yeah. Making herself in these episodes, well, aside from doing some cooking, you see her eating, doesn't really do much of anything at all. The school nurse appears briefly for a couple scenes, and that's it. I mean, first she's giving Kathleen, and then later on she's seeing her, which just basically plays with her breasts like playing a drum. Like, oh, she basically must be raised, and despite the fact she's not that old, she's like a child. Yep, and oh yeah, there's also this brief funny moment where Rito's about to use the bathroom. He's wondering where Yami is. Like, oh, probably back in like, well, probably in Miken's room. And they just happen. He just opens the door and just happens to find both Yami and Miken both naked in the bathroom. And of course, they throw something like it's basically a big comedy. Yep. But yeah, that's pretty much all the 3 episodes that I could think of that happened in these 3 episodes. So yes, expect to see more reviews of this. Yeah, but I'm only going to talk about for the moment just the opening season of the show and the first set of OVAs, and then I'll head to a different series. Yeah, because, well, can't stay for one series for too long per se, okay? But to you next video. Bye.